Hello, welcome back to the Breaking Dawn reviews. So, where we at? I'm picking up where I left off because I told the Lord to remind me, and He is a good Father. He reminded me of exactly where I was at. Okay, so I was saying previously in the last word that you're going to have allies in unusual places. I was talking at the last point that remember how Obadiah had the 100 prophets in the cave? Well, God has people that He's dealing with right now that by the time this thing goes down, and it's time for this thing to go down, that your husband has already had communication with your contact points. These are people that he may not even know were going to be allies, but God's already pricked their heart and He's putting them through their process now, like your husband's getting either in his process or coming to the end of his process. They're being put through their process now, so by the time it comes to the point that they're needed, God will prick his heart and let him know these were the people I need you to deal with right now. Go get these people. Because they needed a certain set of people, and they were getting people from all over the globe. They had Indian tribes, they had Asian tribes, they had African tribes, they had werewolves, they had all of the tribes. Your God ordained spouse knows people from all walks of life that are going to be beneficial to y'all. When this thing is about to go down, these are the people He's going to be able to go get because they're already in His network. And He may not have been close to them, but the Lord's going to let him know who these people are and who to go get at this particular point in time. These are maybe far off, and here they were far off relatives. So, but when y'all come together for this thing, you're going to end up learning from each other. These may be people that exited these industries. These may be people, let me tell you a little thing. I was thinking about this in the bathroom when I was getting ready today, and I know somebody that in the early point in time of their influence, they had to travel to another state. But while they were in that other state, they crossed paths with somebody that was of influence, status. And this particular person not only gave them help, but brought them in their home. For all intents and purposes, you would have never thought this person would have ever brought that particular person into their house, okay? Because of the status of the two different people, okay? So this is what's going to happen. They're going to be people in high places and low places that are going to cover y'all during this season, okay? So, I see number 234. Memorial and population. They're going to be deaths. There's something that happened this morning that let me know the judgment started. The judgment has started, y'all. Get ready, because people about to start dropping. And population, God's moving the people out the way that cannot be a part of this thing. And the population of the people that are going to be necessary for this thing to go the way that the Lord needs for it to go, it is going to be what God needs for it to be. But you're going to have to move strategically. Remember, these are chess moves, not checkers. So then Bella's gift is to Okay, we now know Bella's gift is to be a shield. While they're training, you're going to have to go into another level, not so much isolation, but you and the people that the Lord is going to bring together for this particular move to occur. You're going to come together in teams, unit, collaboration, cohort. And in this cohort, you're going to take your skills, your gifts, your talents, your abilities, and you're going to come together in this place. And in you coming together in this place, you're going to be testing your wisdom, your knowledge, your strength, your fortitude, your mental strength, your tenacity. All these things are going to be tested in this space because you're getting ready to go for a major battle, and everybody's involved, and they got to be all in the right place. And I don't know how I wrote this, but this particular person has the ability to make others see what they need them to see. There are going to be people that are associated with you where the enemy had once had people that manipulated folks. You're going to have allies that have the same skill but are using it for the good of helping you, okay? So they're going to help you by manipulating to the enemy. The enemy is going to see a false front because this particular person looks like an ally to the enemy. He's not going to question it. So it's going to be literally a decoy of invisibility. They won't be able to see what it is that y'all are working on because there's going to be a supernatural hedge of protection spiritually around it, that what you do in this season will be invisible to your enemies, okay? Because of the people that the Lord has surrounded you with, they got certain gifts that they can cover you. Not only cover you verbally, but maybe in business, in certain transactions, in certain moves, maneuvers, places, locations, things that need to be covered. They're going to be able to cover you and your spouse and your family in this. What else? These people are going to all line up together. Now, I wrote a note in here in relation to an episode of Buffy to caveat temporarily into. So, in this, there may have been people that are going to be allies to you, because in this particular episode, there was a person that was a close ally to you, but they may have people around them that are trying to convince them that there's something wrong with them, meaning they may have been lured into these specific industries, especially the ones like your God ordained spouse. They were lured, they were tricked, they ended up getting involved in certain things while they were there. That was the enemy trying to taint their anointings. And these people, they're going to be people that are going to potentially come back to try to blackmail them. Meaning these are going to be some of your allies that are going to be attempted to be blackmailed, or they're going to try to come forth and suggest or bring about confusion into your camp by saying, oh, why do you think you need to trust this person? I mean, if they can't get you, they're going to try to get that person that's your ally to back away from you, because they're afraid that what is going on with them, or that you may find out certain things about them that will turn you against them, and as being allies. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning you won't want them to be an ally because you'll find out something about them. But God's going to give you wisdom ahead of time, because what ended up happening is this particular person went to somebody that was a close confidant, a partner to them, and told that person. But meanwhile, there are what's the word I'm looking for? People that are, they trying to target y'all, because you already know where people targeting y'all. So they're going to be people that are specifically sent to target the ones that are allies to you. So they're going to be coming after them. Okay, follow me. But because the Lord's showing you, don't move. This is something that I've already had experienced, because I've had people come to me about somebody that the Lord told me, you need to stick with that person. I've heard Tiffany Montgomery say this about other people that the Lord told her to stick with. There are people God's want to tell you to stick with in certain seasons that the rest of the people are going to be like, you shouldn't stick with this person because of XYZ. But God's going to be telling you, nah, you need to stay with this person, because this person is going to be ally when all the chips are down. Okay? Remember how in the Hercules Samson word I talked about the counterfeit woman sacrificed herself? Some of these people, when push comes to shove and this battle goes down, they're going to put themselves on the sword for y'all, because they already know that something is creeping up behind them. So they're going to actually purposefully put themselves on the sword for you. But they're going to do it strategically. They're not just going to do it at this point. They're going to do it when it's necessary. You understand what I'm saying? Just like in Hercules, she threw herself in front of a boulder to make sure that Hercules didn't get killed. These people are going to throw themselves on the sword to make sure y'all, in y'all's situation, don't get messed up. So what's going to happen is when there comes a time for these confrontations to happen, y'all going to be like, we're not worried about her or him, because, and it's not so much that you need to let everybody know, but the ones that is necessary, you're going to let them know, nah, we covering them right now. And your covering them is going to make them cover you when the time is right. Okay? So I believe that's what the Lord wanted me to say, because you have made a family unit. Stephanie P did a video on you convicted them. There are going to be people that come in as allies that you convicted them, that when they come in to help you, they were just looking for that familial unit, because since the Lord has dealt with them, they haven't had a place of protection to stand within. So because they haven't had a place of protection to stand within, they've been in a state where they really didn't know how to maneuver or move around in this experience. So when you brought them in to help, it gave them family. And because you didn't turn on them when a test came, they're going to put themselves in a sacrificial position for you when time comes. Okay? I think that's what the Lord wanted me to say about that. Lord, where we at now? Edward talks to Bella after they discover how to expand her shield. So you and your spouse are going to have some private conversations. He's going to come to the realization of how your prayers are truly impacting the situation, because he's going to see it. He's seeing, because he's with you and he sees how you pray. Then he's going out there and he's seeing how your prayers that you've prayed, when he goes out, is actually impacting the situation out there. And he's going to bring that information back to you. And because of that, he's going to be in awe of you, because he's like, I underestimated you completely. I didn't know or realize that it was like this. Next, I'm going to caveat in this moment, because you're Edward went to go run them a bath. You and your spouse are going to get, either you're going to get rebaptized together, or you're going to not cleanse, clean. What's the word I'm looking for, Lord? It's like, you know how you hear people say, wash the person with the word? You're going to be doing prophetic acts. I was listening to Trust and Obey Ministries the other day, and she did a video where she talked about you're going to wash your spouse's feet. You're going to clean and cleanse them, because certain seasons he's going to need to be covered anointing wise. He's going to be needing covering prayer wise. He's going to be needing that cleansing, because I can go into this a little bit, that y'all will need to go through deliverance in certain areas and certain seasons, especially after some stuff has occurred, to get some of that stuff off of you. So you may need baptismals, and you may need to go through self-deliverance again. See, the thing about Christians don't come to this realization that there are points and times you may need to do another level of self-deliverance, because the last season wiped you out. And it left you with an open door. And because of that, if you don't close it spiritually and cleanse, purify, and for some of us, we know what that means, y'all gonna have to fast together in order to prepare for this next season. And you're gonna have to go through your cleansing in that manner. So, in order to prepare for what it is that you're called to walk into, so that you and your spouse are in the same vein. Okay? So this was a note that the Lord kind of gave me, meaning whatever type of fast the Lord calls you into, especially if you're going into a specific type of battle, He may call you to go into a 21-day, 40-day, whatever, so that y'all can be spiritually in tune together with what it is that you need to do in that season. Okay? What's next? Your husband is going to be in awe of you, because you're the one that gave him the one thing that he wanted the most, and that was the ability to have a family of his own. He's watched his other family members have families. He's watched all of this. But what you're going to give him is going to leave him in absolute awe of you. Okay? As simple as you are. It's going to leave him in awe of you. So, there is going to be some decisions you may have to make, not so much without your husband's knowledge, but there are going to be things that are going to need to be done, okay? And God's going to tell you to do them, and He may not tell your husband. He might not. Meaning there are going to be things that the Lord calls you to do in protection of your children, so on and so forth. Things that you're going to need to put away, things that you're going to need to have in position in the case of an emergency, all for protection reasons. Not because you're trying to be over here like, oh, I'm trying to be scandalous, oh, I'm trying to hide something from my husband. No. This is for, I'm putting this away so that when D-Day comes or when something happens, this is covering something that was needed to be covered in the case of an emergency, something that your husband may have had a blind spot to. I remember watching the movie Jump in the Broom, and at the end of the film, the father figure in that film had lost his entire company and they were broke. or so he thought. But the wife was saying, no, we're not. We not broke. And he said, what you mean? She said, I had a stash. And he was like, you had a stash? She said, yeah. He was like, how much you have? She said, don't worry about that. In the case of an emergency, there may be something that the Lord tells you to put away, because maybe this is a protective element to protect your husband at a later date. That when it's necessary, your husband might think everything's gone, or your husband might think he did something wrong. But because the Lord told you, I need you to push this over here, when he comes to you and finally admits whatever it was that he did, you'll be able to say, babe, don't worry about it. It's all right, because we already the Lord already done told me, and I put something away for that. You understand what I'm saying? So, I say this because she had to go to I don't know whether this guy was an attorney or something, but it was in relation to their child. So she had to go meet this guy in relation to this child. And because she needed to go meet him, she didn't tell Edward where she was going. And I think he was some type of an attorney in relation to protective documents and guardianship in the case something happened to either one of them. You may or may not have godparents for your kids, but people that are going to be allies in the case, God forbid anything happen to either one of y'all, this is where your kids go. Okay? Now, my mother had somebody like that for me. But if the Lord shows you that he wants you to do that, you and your husband need to get together and pray about who that person is. Who those people are. And you got to get that documented. Okay? And this is pretty much what she did. So she comes back. And she gives her daughter something. There are things that you're going to have that for your children, you're going to have certain things that are going to be important to them, that you're going to give to them, store away for them, put away for them, that in later years when they're old enough to be able to handle it, you're going to put it in their hands. Meaning this may be something that you give to a lawyer, like we were just talking about, to put away as part of their inheritance after you and your husband are gone. That this is part of their trust. This is part of their inheritance. These are things that when they get these as it relates to business and certain operations, when they get this, it's almost like a clue that's going to unlock something for them in order for them to be able to continue to operate in the business that you and your husband left behind. You understand what I'm saying? Certain things need to be held off for certain times for important seasons. And if you have your kids in the right spiritual space, they'll know, because God will speak to them as to what to do with these things once y'all are gone. Okay? So they end up celebrating Christmas. There will be times of celebration in the midst of all of these things happening. You're going to enjoy certain holidays. You're going to enjoy Christmas, maybe Easter. And I'm not talking about in the pagan format, in the format in which the world says. You're going to enjoy dedicating these celebrations to God. You're going to enjoy Valentine's Day, but it's not. You may also have celebratory moments that don't fall on days that they originally originated. I was watching the Jeffersons the other night, and the wife was leaving town, and the husband needed to do a meeting, and they both came to the agreement that they would just end up doing a doing that celebration for their anniversary when they returned. Sometimes, due to certain business and certain constraints, you and your spouse may either have to move up your anniversary or move back your anniversary. You may have to celebrate his birthday ahead of his birthday. He may have to celebrate your birthday after your birthday. Don't get caught up in dates. I remember somebody recently did a video on this. I don't know whether it was Keys to the Kingdom or Diani Neves, but don't get caught up on dates. If your husband takes you out on a day that's not your anniversary and spoils you like it was your anniversary, but tells you, I'm using this day instead of our anniversary, you still got what you was going to get for your anniversary. He still did what he was going to do on your anniversary. You just didn't get it on the day of your anniversary. You going to really be mad at him about that? Really? So that was my caveat note. So they end up sending her father on a trip. You may actually now have the ability to bless your family members. In this season, if the Lord has allowed your parents to still be around during this time frame, you might be able to do certain things to bless them. Okay? If as long as they living, God may be like, okay, you and your husband will treat your dad or treat your mom or treat your parents to a trip or treat them to go do something they always wanted to do or send them off to blah 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 or allow them to do some other things that they always wanted to do but didn't get a chance to do. You understand what I'm saying? So at this particular point, you're just pretty much in waiting game. There are certain things that are going to come down to timing. We talked about this in the Your Husband is Leaping to You. It's all about the synchronicity of time. You can't jump forward and do this. Yes, you have time. But it's that element of sometimes, and we know, we right here, right now. We waiting on our God ordained spouses. And it's like, where they at, God? Are they coming? Is this going to happen? I know that you said, but Lisa Marie just released a video talking about doubting. I forget. I was just looking at the title. Where was it? Hold on. Is it here? There it is. How long do you expect me to go on like this, Lord? Doubting. In this season, you may find yourself in doubt that certain things are going to be able to happen. So you may be in an element where you're like, oh my God, this is taking so long. Are we supposed to just sit here? I remember in an episode of Buffy, they already knew where their enemies were. They knew what they were up to. In one episode, Buffy went ahead and she said, let's just attack ahead of time. When they attacked ahead of time, they ended up and they had the plan set up perfectly. The problem was there was a glitch. When this glitch occurred, it caused somebody that was an ally to them to get kidnapped and held hostage. If you jump the gun ahead of time trying to make this thing happen because you know what you're doing and blah, 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 and your husband, Eve, is going to listen to you because he trusts you, y'all might end up in a glitch because y'all too restless waiting on this thing to transpire. Don't do it. Do not do it. Wait on God, because he's going to show you. Which brings me, God, you want me to bring that in here? Because well, we're pretty much right there anyway, because we're at the battle. You got to be careful, because at this point, you're getting ready to come into this battle. So the enemy is going to bring about distractions. I'm not going to go in depth into it right now, but this is when you're going to see confusion jump up, because of the fact that a house divided cannot stand. So the enemy may try to bring in a division amongst your people, okay? Threats, accusations, hidden information. I just said that about people that may become your allies to try to get them to get you guys to turn on them, all this kind of stuff. But you also gotta be aware that, just as I said in the other part of the word, when I was talking about the phone call, that, did you not just see that? I said phone call, somebody's phone rang. Call's coming, y'all. It's coming. So, yeah, you have to be prepared, because something's about to go down. And because of that, the enemy's going to be trying to start mess. Start mess between you and your spouse. Try to distance y'all. Make sure that while you're in the midst of your planning, there are going to be things that y'all going to have to take care of, just because these are life obligations. Don't get caught up in your life obligations and get distracted from what it is that the Lord's showing you need to focus on in this season. Because y'all know, y'all be in these seasons and you get distracted by, well, I'd like to be over here focusing on business stuff. The Lord showed me that, remember the chessboard game? I did a whole word on chessboard. Matter of fact, actually, the thumbnail for this is going to be a chess piece. Really, legitimately, you got to be aware of the fact that the enemy is trying to distract you, and you get focusing on other things at this key time. You that close. It's key. You're at a key season and a key point in time. And because of that, you got to know, make sure that you're not getting focused on too much other stuff, because you may leave your husband open to another form of attack. You think these Jezebels and witches going to stop playing games with your spouse just because you